Welcome to Biohacking Beauty, the podcast where we unlock the secrets to youthful skin and longevity through science-backed biohacking strategies. I'm your host, Amitai Eshel, and as always, we're brought to you by Yangus Skincare, the company that my wife and I founded, the leading brand in biohacking your skin for peak performance and anti-aging results. Today is a solo episode. I would like you to imagine if you had a biological clock inside every cell of your body, a built-in timekeeper that determines how quickly you age. Well, in a way, you do. They're called telomeres, and they play a crucial role in aging, cellular function, and even skin health. Today, we're diving into telomeres, what they are, why they shorten, and more importantly, how can we slow or even partially reverse their deterioration through targeted interventions and lifestyle strategies, and also other longevity pathways. If you're interested in optimizing your lifespan and maintaining youthful, vibrant skin, this episode is for you. So let's get started, and let's get started with the basics. What exactly are telomeres? So think of telomeres, and this is very well known kind of explanation. Think of telomeres as the plastic tips on the end of shoelaces. Their job is to protect your DNA, your genetic instructions, from fraying every time a cell divides. But here's the catch. Each time your cells replicate or divide, telomeres shorten, and when they get too short, the cell either becomes dysfunctional or dies. So, why does this matter? Short telomeres have been linked to premature aging, increased risks of disease, and low and slower repair mechanisms in the body. And that includes, and actually, that is very stark in our skin. Now, what causes telomeres to shorten more rapidly than they should? Natural cell division over time is one thing, but also oxidative stress and inflammation, poor lifestyle habits like inadequate sleep, chronic stress, and poor diet, and also um, cosmetic interventions that exceeds the cell's ability to divide properly. Essentially, telomeres are a biomarker of how well or how poorly your body is aging or how well you treated your body. But the good news are that there are proven ways to slow this process down and even in some cases reverse it. This brings us to the concept of cellular renewal, our body's ability to repair and regenerate cells. When cellular function is optimized, we can better protect telomeres from excessive shortening. So let's break down how into maybe like three categories the key processes. So first of all is cellular energy and NAD. Obviously, you're going to find it in a lot of what we're talking about, but because it's true, our cells need NAD to function, and a critical or crucial molecule in order. Um, I'm going to refine it. So our cells need energy to function, and NAD is at the center of that energy production. NAD fuels DNA repair and keeps enzymes like sirtuins. So many times you'll hear me or other people say genes sirtuins and enzyme sirtuins. So that is interchangeable. So it's the genes and the enzymes that they encode help them stay active, which helps maintain telomere length. As we age, NAD levels decline, but supplementation with NAD precursors like NR or NMN, or injections or NAD IVs can help restore these levels. Side note is Chromadex, which is a company that owns True Niagen, which is the leading NR patent just came out with an NR IV. I don't actually know if they came out with it or not. They've been behind the scenes talking about it for a couple years now. I'm unaware of the data around it, if it's better or worse. Something definitely worth exploring and see how you feel if it's available to you. But that's just in case anyone out there has heard about it, is thinking about it. So normally IVs and injections would be the NAD molecule, and um, supplements will be the precursors, because NAD, it doesn't go very well as a supplement. Okay. Another thing would be autophagy and proteases. Um, so autophagy is the body's ability, or a built-in kind of mechanism to cleanup. It clears out damaged cells and their parts, in reducing oxidative stress, which lower oxidative stress equals lower telomere shortening. Fasting, exercise, and certain compounds like spermidine and spermidine pre and post cursors like spermine and putrescine promote autophagy. You want to look, and that's a side note. Maybe if anyone wants, we're going to do a full episode about that. But you want to look for a spermidine compound that has all three. And it's very hard to figure out which one has all three or not. So I'll give you two companies. One is a company that obviously we make products with, which is Permidine Life, and another one is Primidine. Primidine is more available in Europe, whereas Spermidine is also available in Europe, especially in the Central Europe, like Austria, Germany, and here in the United States, it's more popular. Primidine is more popular in the UK. Either or works. Okay, so what we know, by the way, is that autophagy is extremely important, and autophagy actually needs spermidine uh, in the DNA level to get. Remember, I said about sirtuins. It's like the genes and the enzymes they encode, right? So it's the instructions and the actual action. Same thing about autophagy. There is the instructions in the DNA, and in the same way, sirtuins need NAD in order to express that DNA. Also, autophagy genes need spermidine in order to express that DNA. So it's not only that we take spermidine to mimic fasting, we take spermidine also to actually have fasting work as far as its beneficial effects in the body. So supplemental spermidine. That's all I'm saying. So the next will be epigenetics and longevity pathways. So certain genes control telomerase activity. The enzymes that again helps maintain telomere length. Nutraceuticals like resveratrol, spermidine that I mentioned, injections of GHKCU, copper peptide, can support these pathways and help stabilize telomeres over time. So that's something important to, now that we understand how cells work to preserve telomeres, the question is like, what are the best interventions to support this process? If you're looking to protect your telomeres, the foundation starts with daily habits, which is, let's start with like exercise and movement. Moderate exercise like walking, cycling, or resistance training have all been linked with longer telomeres. But be mindful, excessive exercise, high intensity training without recovery can cause oxidative stress and accelerate telomere shortening. So bear that in mind. Another one is sleep and circadian rhythm. So sleep is when the body repairs DNA and clears out damaged cells. Deep quality sleep help reduce oxidative stress, inflammation, which both impact telomere length and to the positive and to the negative. Another one is stress management, because chronic stress releases cortisol, which is directly linked to telomere shortening. One thing we can do is, a few things we can do is mindfulness practices, breath work, and meditation have all been shown to increase telomerase activity and slow telomere loss. Beyond lifestyle, nutrition, and targeted supplementation play a huge role in telomere maintenance. So here are the top compounds to look for. NAD precursors, which and R and MN, which support cellular energy and DNA repair. You could also do IVs and injections of NAD. Another one is spermidine. We talked about it. GHK2 peptides. They are available in pills, but there is very little evidence that they work. That would be an injectable form. Resveratrol and pterostilbene, which activate longevity genes and may help stabilize telomeres. That is also debated, but they are also lowering oxidative stress. So in any way, they are recommended. Another one is vitamin C, obviously not ascorbic acid, but sodium ascorbate as a supplement, and vitamin E, because they act as powerful antioxidants to protect against oxidative damage. And within that, I would also give an honorable mention to C60, which is a less common, or obviously I love it, and we've had a couple of people on the podcast talk about it, but C60 is another antioxidant that I use and that you can use there. One that is specifically for skin would be glycidin. GLYSODIN is another antioxidant that is good for skin in general, but also telomere length in the skin. Another one is omega-3 fatty acids, help reduce systemic inflammation, preserving telomeres. And if you want to use a better, I believe, fatty acid, you could use it together with omega-3 or separately. It would be Fatty 15 is the brand. And we've obviously had Stephanie Van Watson a couple times on this podcast. So by the time I'm recording it, we've already recorded the second interview. I'm not sure which is going to come out first, but highly recommend Fatty 15. And if you are curious about like what's the difference, I would recommend listening to the podcasts. So incorporating these compounds, whether through what I mentioned, whether I recommended it through supplementation, whether we do it through food or skin specific, can make a measurable impact. Now let's talk skin specific. Why does telomere shortening show up so vividly in our skin? Our skin is exposed to environmental aggressors. As I talk often, 20% of the reason our skin ages is what's going on kind of inside our body, and 80% is those environmental aggressors like UV radiation, pollution, oxidative stress, EMF, heavy metals. These accelerate telomere shortening and what we call telomere attrition, leading to wrinkles, collagen loss, and slower wound healing. So the question is like, what can we do? First and foremost are topicals with nano encapsulated NAD precursors, copper peptides, and spermidine. They all help to rejuvenate the skin at the cellular level and are very good for telomeres. There are a couple companies. One is called Skin 818 or something like that. Another one is TA65. And these companies are basically companies who are centered around telomeres and interaction with them as their claim to skin rejuvenation. For the most part, like I've said about other companies, whether it is companies that look only at senescent cells, whether it's companies that only look at collagen production, whether it is companies that only look at, there are going to be companies in the next few years looking at methylation. So all of these things, when you take one mechanism, as we can see, we can use many ingredients that are good, and we've mentioned them in other episodes, and we use them in skincare like copper peptides, spermidine, NAD, things like that. Vitamin C, which we mentioned as a supplement, C15, fatty 15. But these are not here because we only have these ingredients and we're trying to tell you that that's only what you should use. What happens is you want to create a system, skincare system, that targets as many of the reasons our skin ages at once. And if you focus down on a specific mechanism, a lot of times it doesn't translate to how the skin looks at the end of the day. You can take a cell, you can put a compound on it, it's going to show amazing results, but at the end of the day, it doesn't translate to skin health that well. And not to bash any of the companies that I mentioned. If this podcast convinced you all you need is to lengthen your telomeres, go ahead and choose one of those companies. But at the end of the day, we want to use compounds that benefit telomeres, but also other things. And that's why I mentioned the ingredients that I mentioned. Having said that, so what do these companies use? They use something called astragalus extract. We use it in Care, which is our first formulation. And since we use, spermidine, copper peptides, things like that, we don't need to use it in the newer formulations. But astragalus or astragaloside 4, which is the compound in it, has been shown to interact positively with telomeres. Less topically, more internally, but that is their target. We don't use it anymore since it is, you only have so much you can put in a formula, and we want to use ingredients that also provide telomere benefits, but also other benefits. Okay, let's talk about professional treatments like red light therapy. None that is professional, but sorry, not professional, but like equipment. So red light therapy would be one. Chemical peels um, um, in a spa are when combined can actually improve telomere length. So when you have a chemical peel and red light therapy on top of it, it can improve telomere, or it could benefit the telomeres. Obviously, Yangu's chemical peels are with the copper peptides, so obviously that is, as far as I'm concerned, the best solution. But this is another approach. A holistic approach on focusing on internal and external interventions really offers the best results for maintaining youthful skin and benefits the telomeres the most. Okay, before we wrap up, I want to clear a few common myths about telomeres. First is, can we fully stop telomere shortening? And the answer is no, but we can slow it dramatically. And in some cell types, we may even restore some length by boosting telomerase, which is kind of what we talked about today. The second is like, do only older people need to care about telomeres? And the question is not at all. Telomere health starts very, very early, and the sooner one implements protective strategies, the better their long-term results are. Another one would NAD supplements or topicals alone fix everything? Although they are powerful, and we may see results in the short run if we only do that, telomere protection requires a holistic long-term approach. Sleep, diet, exercise, and stress management all play a significant role in that. Another thing that I would say is hormonal balance. A balance between estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone, especially in women, but also in men, is crucial for telomere length. So here's how you can start applying what we talked about today. Prioritize sleep, stress reduction, and a nutrient-dense diet is very important. Incorporate key supplements and skincare ingredients. Be consistent, because cellular renewal is, again, a long-term game and a long-term investment. But by taking these tips, you can actively slow cellular aging and maintain healthier telomeres for years to come. So in conclusion, telomeres are really more than just a marker of aging. They are a blueprint for longevity. That's why I like to look at them as a marker of how well we're doing. By stimulating cellular renewal through NAD, autophagy, targeted interventions, we have real tools to protect our telomeres and promote healthier, more youthful skin and body function. Well, this was a short episode. I just wanted to touch on telomeres. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into longevity, peptides, and cutting edge anti aging science. So until next time, keep optimizing.